Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome to episode 11 in my Overly Scienced series. Now I noticed that there's a DLC when I opened up the game here, and I clicked on it. And you can see some of the updates here. But what I really want to focus on is this right here. This steam turbine fix means that I don't have to use petroleum down in the bottom right here, which is really big. That's going to simplify a lot of my steam rooms. And I'm also glad that someone else has mentioned this, because this has happened to me and I couldn't figure out why it was happening. I kept losing steam pressure in my steam room in some of my other maps. And so knowing that I can get around this mass deletion thing is also really big. Now I haven't decided if I'm going to be getting the DLC yet. Once I get more information on it, I'll probably decide then. But I'm gonna go into the map now. It normally takes 10 minutes to load, so I'll skip this. Let's see, what were we trying to do? It's been a while since I've played. We were getting this steam rocket ready to go to these first two asteroids here. Okay, so what I need to do is make a thingy here. So I'm going to use a teppidizer for heat generation, and then I'm going to use a thermo aqua tuner to move that heat up into a room up here, and then I'm going to pump out that steam with some gas pumps right here, and then I can just pipe it over into there. Now this is in space, so we're going to need some drywall. And then in the center, I'll put some temperature shift plates. It can be made out of, yeah, granite's fine. Let's see, so for power, I'm gonna do something very, very temporary. I'm going to set up a power transformer. I'm gonna put in a tiny little bit of water down in here. And since the overheat temperature on a large power transformer is 125, the water in here will evaporate and keep this cool before it will ever get to its overheat temperature. And I'm going to need to monitor this to make sure that I don't boil off all of the water. And these people are stuck. Okay, let's hurry up and fix this. Okay, now they can leave now. And really, this should be insulated tile. Since all of the stuff down here is over 100 degrees, it would just instantly boil the water I put in. So for the plumbing here, I like to put in the bridge here. And then I'll have the buffer here. Radiant pipe here. Insulated pipe within the walls. And then I can just go up into there. Yeah, that'll work. Something like that. I'm going to need a way to control all of the different components in here, so the aqua tuner needs to turn on when this room is too cold. So we're going to need a thermosensor. That's really simple. Then the gas pumps, we want them to turn on once the steam is up to temperature. So we'll need another thermosensor for that. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to reroute the liquid pipe here, because I need this space for a liquid vent. And that will be the water input. I'm going to move this thermosensor down into this tile here, because if I put in an atmosensor right here to control the input water, then if it gets too cold in this room and all of the steam condenses, the atmosensor won't be able to pick up an atmosphere because it's going to be submerged in liquid. So I'm going to put the thermosensor here, and I'm going to put the atmosensor here. And then I can route the wiring around this way. Okay, so for all of these settings, I want the aquatuner here to turn on if the steam is ever below 150 degrees. Then I want these gas pumps to work when the temperature in here is above 125. And then the atmosensor should try and keep the pressure in here at about, 2 kilograms should work. I just realized I'm actually going to need 2 power transformers because of how much power this is all going to take. What I think I'm going to do is put radiant pipe here. That way the incoming water can keep these cool for now. And really, I should make all of this out of insulated piping here. Because any water that's in just regular piping here when the rocket launches is going to immediately evaporate and break the pipe. So for power, I'm going to... Whoop, no, not heavy watt. Regular conductive wire. I'm going to power this one by itself. And then once my dupes make more iron, I will show you where the second one goes. This one I'm going to run up like this to power the aquatuner and both gas pumps. Once they put the wiring in, I can put the floor in here, seal this off, and make sure it works. Now I'm going to seal this up. I need to open this vent to fill this up with water down here so that the tepodizer actually has something to warm up. Then I can put that block in, seal this off, and it should be good to go. The only thing I really have left to do is to figure out how to fill up this cooling loop here, and I think the easiest way to do it is just to bridge on some water right here. And I don't actually want this working yet, so I'm going to switch that, because if it just works, then it's going to overheat itself because it's not in an atmosphere right now. Tepodizers are very particular in how much water they like to sit in, so I'm going to just fill this up until it says, well, until the not submerged in liquid error goes away. I'm not entirely sure how much it actually has to be submerged in. Okay, this is starting to work now. I'm going to block that off. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, and then once they build this, I can finish that wall off. I'm going to close the vent here for a second while they finish all that. Alright, I'm going to open this up, let the water in, and I'm going to switch that back so the aquatuner is now going to pull heat from down here up into here. When it gets too cold down here, the tepodizer is going to turn on so that the aquatuner has some heat to move back into this room. Okay, that's a little too much water, so I'm going to go ahead and manually close that for now. I'm going to let this heat up the water that's already in there. There's actually a gap in the liquid right there, so I'm going to put the bridge... I'm going to do something like this, temporarily for now, to try and fill up that bubble that's missing right there. Okay, I think I got it. So this should stop jerking. The temperature in here will slowly rise. So in the meantime, what we can do, we can go back to Oni Assistant to figure out how much steam we need to put into this rocket. So there's 6 research modules, and we're only going to go to the first planet, and since it's steam, the oxidizer doesn't really matter. It's saying we're going to need 719 kilograms of steam. So with that number, we now come down to the steam engine and set this for 719 kilograms. This has all turned to steam now. I'm just waiting for it to heat up to those final few degrees before this thermosensor activates. We're getting some broken pipes here because it's getting too cold, so I'm going to change this to insulated, which is something I should have done from the beginning. But anyway, back to this. The last thing I need to do to get this to work properly, I'm just going to get rid of these doors entirely, because I don't want to have to power them. I'm going to have to skill someone up to become an astronaut here. Let's figure out which one. So R here looks like they'll like it. They have an interest in rocket navigation. So we'll go ahead and give them the rocket navigation helmet. And I don't know why I haven't given the others their hats yet. I'll do that later. But now Ari is eligible, so we're going to assign them. we're gonna need to make another Atmos suit and select a destination. So star map, gonna go here, and we gotta go make an Atmos suit. A steam rocket won't actually fill when it's entombed. Just a FYI on that. This usually isn't a problem with hydrogen rockets because the fuel tanks on those are up here in these areas, and to get your regolith to pile up that high is kind of difficult. Now when the rocket takes off, it's going to break all of these gantries because I have no way of retracting them, so for now, I'm just going to disable auto repair. You can actually still use a gantry even though it's broken. I just don't like taking advantage of that. So if I use gantries, I will power them. Because really the fun of this game is figuring out different ways to engineer all of your buildings so that they work as intended. So now what we're waiting for is this rocket to fill up. And it is not even halfway there. Oh my, okay. This I'm going to deconstruct and just rebuild it, because repairing it costs resources. I think I covered this in a previous episode. It's better to just disable auto repair on things and reconstruct it when it's destroyed. Otherwise, it costs resources to repair. If you deconstruct a building that's damaged, you get all of the resources you put into it back out. Okay, it looks like this is ready now, so I'm gonna go to show star map. Maybe? Show star map? It's not working. Oh, right, because I deconstructed my... Duh. Okay, I gotta put the telescope back in so that I can launch the rocket. And once you research all of the planets or asteroids in the star map, that's really the only reason you need to keep the telescope, is so that you can keep launching rockets. It can be literally down at the bottom of the map. You don't have to have any access to the sky. You just have to have it built somewhere on your map so that you can keep launching rockets. Here we go. First rocket. Away. Ladders also work when completely broken, but telescopes don't. So I'm gonna have to deconstruct this again. Okay, it looks like the meteor shower's over, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the telescope back in. And what we're hoping for in these spots right here is fullerene and or niobium. The fullerene will give us access to supercoolant, which we can then use to progress to, oh, not that one. To progress towards cryofuel combustion, because we need, well, there are ways of getting to liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen without supercoolant, but they're very convoluted. So supercoolant is the easiest way to do it, and fullerene will allow us to build that, and then niobium will allow us to craft thermium. And thermium is going to be a very crucial component in the sour gas boiler I plan on building. And I also use thermium for the robo-miners here. I don't bother with a cooling loop. I just let the regolith cool down the robo-miners, because robo-miners made out of thermium don't overheat until they get up to like 900 degrees or so. And the regolith only comes in at, at a maximum of, we'll say 350 to be safe. And that's nowhere near the overheat temperature of the robo-miners. So you can actually use the regolith, the hot regolith, to cool down the robo-miners, which is kind of weird to think about. And you don't need to put in a cooling loop. Now, depending on how much wolframite I have on the map, will determine if I need to build an insulation melter. And the reason that's important is because tungsten is combined with niobium to get thermium. And so if I don't have enough tungsten, then I can't make enough thermium. And my space setup really relies on a lot of thermium, which is why I do kind of this really very temporary poor setup here, just so that I can build up enough thermium to put in the real the real space setup. So, a meteorite came at a perfect perpendicular and broke every single one of these ladders, so I'm gonna have to go through and manually disable auto repair on every single one of them. Okay, that wasn't really that bad, I guess. If this pipe in here breaks before I can send the second rocket, I might have a problem. I really should have made this out of ceramic. I don't know why I made it a regular pipe. Let's see, the meteor shower stopped, so I'm gonna dig this back up. I want to check how far out my rocket is, and I need the telescope to do that. Okay, here we go, let's see. It is, oh, almost here. Okay, perfect. And then I should also put in the virtual planetarium, if I've got space for it somewhere here. I'll put it right here. Space mission complete. Let's watch it return. Let's see, so we've got isoresin, but no thermium or, no, sorry, no fullerene or niobium. Isoresin, I don't really have a use for it quite yet. I don't think I'm going to be making insulation. We'll see what we have on this asteroid. Now, the order on the research here, you don't want to go straight for cryofuel because you can't use this upgrade without first bringing back some fullerene using the solid cargo. So you want to go solid fuel, hydrocarbon, solid cargo, and then cryofuel. Alright, this rocket's full again, so we're going to send it off to this asteroid. And see what that has for us. While the rocket is away, I could go ahead and extend this out over to the other edge. The space mission is complete. I still don't have this yet, so I can't even check what's on that asteroid. Okay, this is done now. Let's see. What did that have? Fullerene. Perfect. Now that 2 steam rockets have been launched, we should have enough to finish the hydrocarbon combustion research. So I'm going to deconstruct this, and this. This will be the petroleum engine, the oxidizer tank, and then the liquid fuel tank. And then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 research modules. And all of this can go away as well. And then I can use the power from these transformers down here for the doors up on top. Now, petroleum rockets can get kind of hot, so I'm going to actually make the power wires here out of steel. The way I have the bridges set up right here, it prioritizes the bristle blossom farm back over here before it prioritizes the bathrooms. So I'm going to put a bridge here and then cut that link right there. And what this will do is prioritize the bridge going up this way and into the bathrooms up here before it goes over to the Bristle Blossom farm. That way I make sure that my bathrooms never run out of water, and then any excess water can just be fed over into the Bristle Blossoms over there. Now, if you notice the research here, this is 200, this is 400 in the interstellar section. And if we go over to how many databanks we have left, exactly 0. And databanks are used for interstellar research. So if you remember from the previous episode, when I said that you need to send 2 rockets with 6 research modules on them, that is so that you can exactly finish hydrocarbon combustion. If I sent any less modules, I would not be able to have that research from just 2 rockets. I'm going to use this space down here since I deconstructed the rocket parts once this is finished autosaving. I can sneak a ladder up here, and I'm going to finish off all of these bunker tiles here. I've been analyzing all these planets, and There's 3 dusty dwarfs. I've never seen that before. Now, before you freak out over progress, just know that this is a previous map. I just want to show where I'm going with my space setup. So I have the 2 rockets on the left side with their fuel here. And then these space scanners are actually completely blocked by the top up here. But if you link them together in a very specific way, you can put them anywhere on the map with 0 visibility, and they will still be able to detect your rockets in time and open your doors. And I'll show how to do that when I build them on the other map. Now, this is my regolith collection area up here, with the robo-miners made of thermium on the bottom, and if I go to the liquid overlay here, you can see there's a thin layer of petroleum here that everything sits in. And that's why these solar panels here aren't zigzagged. And it's also to make room for all of this, but ignore this for now, it's part of the regolith melter. And if I go over to the other side, I don't want to show too much. It's completely symmetrical. I have 2 more rockets, and then these space scanners here. And then this down here is also part of the regolith melter. So this whole setup is what I'm going to be aiming for in the other map, which I will jump to right now. Alright, now that I'm back on this map, I'm going to try and make this area look like the other map. I've got this all walled off. I've got the bunker tiles all the way across the top now. I'm going to save this side for later. I got the petroleum rocket research now, so I'm going to put this in. And then on top of that, I will put in the solid oxidizer tank. And on top of that, I put the liquid fuel tank. And then I'm going to need a gantry right here to fill up the solid oxidizer tank. The second rocket silo went right here. I remember having 6 tiles between the two silos. For the power to the bunker doors, what I'm going to do, I have the ones here made out of steel, and then inside the bunker tiles it's made out of iron, and then back over on these doors it's made out of steel. Now, these bunker doors, they have gotten, I have gotten them to overheat. If you look, they have an overheat temperature of 1200 degrees. I have no idea, like, why I was able to get them that hot. But, knowing that they can get that hot, I have to make the wire here out of steel. If I make it out of iron, then it'll melt. But it's okay to make it over here out of iron because the bunker tiles can absorb some of that heat, and so the wire won't get too cooked. Then this right here is the edge of the second rocket silo, so I'm gonna drop this steel all the way down to here. I actually can't quite make this exactly like the other one yet, so I'm going to improvise a little bit here. I'm gonna deconstruct this, and then I'm gonna have the edge of the silo be where this ladder is, and then I'm gonna have a central ladder up the middle to access both rockets. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it works. I've settled on something that looks a little like this now. Instead of only being 7 tiles wide for the rocket, I've made it 9 tiles so that I can fit the gantry, because I'm going to have to use the gantry to put in piping and stuff. And then once I get in the permanent piping for the hydrogen rockets, then I can take the gantries out and close this back up so that it looks like the other one. Now for these space scanners, they go here, 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 no, not there, here, 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 and there's 6 of them. I'm gonna wait until I have more steel. I'm out of steel at the moment, because I want to make the mesh tiles that they sit on out of steel. Because the hydrogen rockets can produce enough heat in the steam that they give off to melt the mesh tiles if I made them out of gold amalgam, iron ore, or copper ore. So steel would really be the only thing that survives. And for power, they can all run off of a heavy watt wire like this. Okay, I've got a little bit of steel now. I'm gonna go ahead and put in these mesh tiles here. Okay, now that all of these are in place, let me go over the automation here. All you have to do is connect all of them together, and then run that signal through a NOT gate. So now if any of these space scanners here detect the rocket, it will flip the NOT gate and open the doors. And the reason this works with zero visibility, I'm not entirely sure. It has something to do with the way space scanners work. Because there's such a wide range where they can detect meteorites, so this is with zero visibility, or zero scan network quality, it will detect incoming objects 1 second to 200 seconds before they arrive. So one space scanner by itself is pretty useless, but when you use a bunch of them together, it increases the odds that one of them will detect it at least 40 seconds before it comes in. That way it gives the bunker doors enough time to open. Now, if you were to set up the automation the way I see a lot of people do, where they run each space scanner into a NOT gate and then OR that signal on a main line, you end up with an AND instead of a NOR, which means all space scanners need to be detecting the incoming rocket before the door will open. This way, only one of them needs to detect it. Now, having a NOT gate on every single one so you have an AND gate will work if you want to maintain perfect solar panel coverage so that the doors close at the very last moment to maximize how much time your solar panels are in the sun, but that requires perfect visibility on your space scanners. So doing it this way, I have to now set all of these to detect the rocket over here. I can leave these detecting meteorites, and then maybe put in the telescope back over here. Yeah, I think I'll try that. So let me get rid of this. To supply power to these doors, I'm going to use the beginnings of the liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen facility right here. I'm going to do something similar that I did down here. I'm just going to put in a power transformer and put some water in the bottom. So I can connect the power up kind of like this. And I have to make sure I get some drywall in, and I'll throw in a bottle emptier. This automation wire is going to connect up to the first set of doors over here, and then I'm going to make sure I switch to steel. And this set of doors I will connect up to these space scanners. Minor correction here, the space scanners connected to the main doors that detect meteorites need the NOT gate, but the ones detecting rockets just directly connect them to the doors. Don't put a NOT gate in between. So now that these are no longer detecting incoming meteorites, this turns green, which opens the doors, and now this has visibility to the sky. So I'm gonna go ahead and... No, it's already... Okay. I'm gonna keep researching that then. And for now, I'm going to need a way to manually open and close these doors. That way I can launch the rocket. So I'm just going to put in a signal switch so I can open the doors, launch the rocket, and then I can flick the switch, and then the doors will open back up when the rocket returns because of these space scanners. Now that I have all of this infrastructure in, I can pipe over the petroleum, and I need to figure out a way to get some solid oxidizer. So I'm going to bring in the petroleum on this insulated pipe here, which just goes all the way down to the bottom of the base where I'm making the petroleum. I'm going to put my oxalite refinery right here, and I'm going to use this oxygen right here to fuel it. This takes 1.2 kilowatts of power, So I'm going to have to figure out a new power solution for this area. I've been running off of this terrible power transformer the whole time. So what I'm going to do is put in a bunch of transformers down at the bottom. I think, so I've got this one already powering the aqua tuner. I have this one here powering the carbon skimmer. I think I'll get rid of this one and then have this one run all the way up to the top here to power these. And now I can rip all of these out. And this down here can go, because this can now be powered by this one. And this is also going to run up here to power this. And I think I can save some wire if I do this instead. Now I'm going to make the heavy watt wire here out of gold, so that there's less of a decor malice. And there's no power here. Okay, what did I do wrong? This right here. I need to put in a bridge here. Deconstruct these. And then I can do something like this, and then have that power it like that. That'll work. And this needs to be priority now. I don't have access to any metals outside of the base here, so they're not going to do anything. But what I can do, I can deconstruct the wall here. This is made out of gold. And then they should go over here. Do they have access now? Yes. Okay, good. Now I can put this back. Alright, it looks like this has power now. It should have access to oxygen. Awaiting delivery for gold. Should have plenty of gold because of this. Now it's working. So let's see, this rocket over here, where do we want to send it? It's the research rocket, so it is going to go to a planet to research. We'll go here. So this is 2,000 kilometers. So if I go to the rocket calculator here, so we're running petroleum, oxalite, 4 of these, and we're going to 2,000 kilometers. So we're going to need 564 kilograms of both fuel and oxidizer. So we're going to set this to 564, and we're going to set this to 564. This is almost full now, and the petroleum should be coming in here. Yep, there it is. So I'm going to get ready to launch this. Here comes the last little bit of oxalite here. Should be ready to go. Yep. Gonna open the doors. And we're gonna research the... Wait, too far? Why is it too far? Is my math wrong? This is all correct. Okay. Let's try 570. Okay. I guess it was off by a little bit. Launch. And then I close that. And then once these stop detecting the rocket, these doors will go ahead and close. And then on its return, these should open the doors in time. When that rocket returns, I should get closer to the solid cargo research. Once I get that, I'll put in the second rocket here to start bringing back some... What was this? Fullerene and... Where's the thermium? No. Niobium, that's what I'm looking for. So for now, I guess I could build up this rocket. I just won't be able to put in the command capsule yet, because this is in the way. Now for this rocket, they're delivering oxalate right now, so I'm going to check how far this one needs to go. We're going to be using 2 of these, 0 of those, increase that, because it has to be 8 tall. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's saying we're going to need 1,092 kilograms of each. If we're going to we're going to go 1,000, so 624. Looks like how much we're going to need here. 624, 624. And then this I will connect up like this. And then liquid fuel, we'll put liquid fuel here, and then it's the cargo, and then the command capsule up on top. So these 2 fuel tanks here are going to be empty because we're only going to this planet right here, or this asteroid. Once we need to gather resources from further away, I'll be using those fuel tanks. I just make all of my rockets all the same size. That way I can send any of them to any planet. I don't need to use special rockets for the close planets and special rockets for the further away planets. Now these gantries are unnecessary and they're just taking up some steel, so I'm going to deconstruct these. This is really odd. This is full, but for some reason they keep trying to fill it back up with oxalate. And I don't know why they're doing this. Maybe if I put this on priority 1, they'll just ignore the command. Okay, that seemed to deter them for now, at least. The only thing that's really left to do is wait for this rocket to return. I think once it returns and I research the solid cargo, I will go ahead and build this rocket up, launch it, see what we get back, and then end the episode there. This space scanner here has detected something. This one has as well, so the door is opening. Let's see. The rocket is about to return, so that is working correctly. The only problem this has is when a rocket returns during a meteor shower, you can occasionally get a meteor strike down in this area and it'll break some stuff. That's why, if you remember from the finished rocket silos, why they were so enclosed. You can't really stop a rocket from returning during a meteor shower. You can stop a rocket from leaving during a meteor shower, though, if you're clever with your automation. Here it comes. Then the doors should close, and you were able to escape. Because this is still here. Eventually I'm going to remove this gantry and just basically trap the dupes in the command capsules. It allows for quicker turnaround on the rockets. And once they're in the rocket, you don't have to feed them or provide oxygen to them. So let's see what that rocket was able to gather from this planet. So we've got isoresin. We need to send 1 more to finish this. I doubt that will be niobium. That should have given me more data banks here. For some reason, I didn't get any. That means this won't make any progress. Unless they've already all been dropped off. They might have all been dropped off already. Let's see. Yeah, they're all in here. Okay, so it did bring back some. I just have dupes that are too efficient. Okay, Ari's made it back. We can now send the next mission. And I think I'm actually going to send it here. it wouldn't make much sense for me to send 4 research modules just for this last little bit right here. I can finish that off on a later rocket I plan on building. So I'm gonna go here. Now this one's off. Close that. Let's see, how close are we? Okay, well, this is about to finish. That means I can build this rocket here. This has just finished, so I'm gonna go ahead and start cryofuel. And make sure that these have power. They don't have power, so let me connect them up to here. And that used all my iron, so I gotta go back down here. Let's make some more iron. We'll do 10, and we'll copy that. Oh, and the way I'm jumping around the map, if you don't know how to do this, if you just look at a spot you want to jump to, if you hit Control and then one of the numbers, you'll set that location, and then to jump to it, just use Shift and then that number. So I have this in the top left here set to Control 1. So to jump to it, I hit Shift 1. If I want to jump to the opposite side in space, I hit Shift 2. And then this is Shift 3 in the center. Shift 4 is my duplicate housing thing here. And then Shift 5 I have down here. That way you don't have to, scroll through your whole map. It's just quicker. When building cargo bays, you have to be careful what you build them out of. Default, it's set to sandstone. But since they're going to be interacting with rocket exhaust, you have to really make sure that you use either ceramic or obsidian. Because if you look at the melting point of... okay, caps lock. If you look at the melting point of ceramic, it's 1849. And if you look at the melting point of obsidian, it's 2726. The cargo bay will overheat at 2000 degrees. If you make it out of sandstone, it will melt at 926. So it will melt before it overheats. And so you won't notice the problem. When it returns, the exhaust from... it has to pass through its exhaust because it's coming down. And so the exhaust will actually melt the cargo bays, and then you won't get the resources. So just make sure that you make these out of either obsidian or ceramic. I'm going to make mine out of obsidian. And that's a similar idea with the shipping rails here. Because they're going to be in the exhaust, you really want to be making them out of steel, which I don't have any at the moment. But once you end up on this side, you can switch over to iron ore. This automation wire here, I realized I made out of iron. I really should switch that to steel, so I'm gonna do that now. Okay, I'm gonna put in the conveyor rails to this point here, and this point here. Then I'm gonna switch to iron ore for now. I'll probably switch it all to steel later. And then I run it down this way and drop it off right here. Actually, no. I'm going to just drop it off right here. Right there. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna do this. Right here. We'll let gravity bring it all the way down. And it looks like a couple of these are unreachable, so I'm gonna deconstruct just the buildings right here so they can get in and build that. Now that I have the command capsule in place, what I can do is switch these over to, what are you called? Rover. Switch these over to detect rover. And that means I need to remove this NOT gate right here. And connect that up. And if you connect a NOT gate to itself, it flashes like that. So having another rocket means we need more exosuits. So I'm going to put in an exosuit forge because I had to remove the one that was here to put in the oxalate refinery. Make another exosuit, and then I need to train up another astronaut. So Gene here looks like he'll like going into rocket navigation, so go ahead and skill him up there, and then give him a hat. Jump back over here and assign Gene to this one. So this rocket, right, I don't have a... Where is it? Telescope. I'll put the telescope here, that way I can launch this rocket. Now these gantries are now unnecessary, so I'm going to remove them and use their steel to finish off this right here. Okay, now I can select a destination. Even though this has no visibility, I can use it to select a destination. So we're going to go to the carbon asteroid, we're going to bring back this fullerene, and then next episode we're going to use this fullerene to make supercoolant, so that I can get the hydrogen rockets running, because I want to switch off of petroleum. Oh, this is just flicked. That means this rocket is returning. Ah, yes, here it is. Alright, let's see what that has given us. Niobium, perfect. Okay, so we're going to be hitting this carbon asteroid and this oily asteroid for fullerene and niobium, and that will pretty much enable our entire space program. So the next episode, I'm going to be really expanding all of the infrastructure I'm going to need up here, like the robo-miners, and I'm going to be putting in the liquid oxygen and hydrogen over here, and then probably mirror that over on this side. For the center, I usually have like a big battery box for the entire base, but I've been running into power problems in the late game where I'm actually overloading a heavy watt wire. So I want to try something where I essentially split up the map into two halves, where I have this side powered by a 50 kilowatt wire, and then this side powered by a separate 50 kilowatt wire. And I have some ideas about how to control power flow between the two. But I do want to launch this rocket, so I'm going to put in a quick signal switch right here so that I can control these doors. And then I'll send this one off and end the episode there. Alright, here we go. Flick that on. These doors should open. These doors should open. No, I flicked it off. What am I talking about? Now they're opening. And launch. Make sure I disable auto repair. And okay, good. Alright, well, we got a lot done in this episode. We went through steam and petroleum rockets. That's pretty much all I have time for, though. I hoped you learned something. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.